What's up, everybody? Welcome to another live session. We're just waiting for Rajiv ji to join, and looks like he is here.
What's up?
I just started because I was not sure, so I was like, people are there, so I'll just tell them that we're waiting for you, but you joined, so
Of course. What's happening, Yudi?
all good. Started my new role, so really excited.
How many days have you been going?
It's my day 6, so not not long.
And are you working from home? Or are you going in?
It's with full remote, but we have a team meeting in Chicago, so I think they're gonna do like 4 times a year, like every quarter. They're gonna try to do like get together, so that way there's no like Zoom relationship. It's like in person,
Hmm.
some form of in person. So that's that's the plan right now, but we'll see.
Excellent,
Yeah,
excellent, excellent,
yeah.
excellent.
How have you been?
Good. Lot of deadlines, lot of because it's H1B filing season,
Mm,
so
yeah, yeah.
a lot of papers to review.
Yeah. Do you still do that or is it your team?
I still do it. I I do the last overall review,
Yeah.
so I get called in the moment there is an issue, and I actually look at
You
every
you
job.
you're like Dhoni.
No, I look at every job description just to make sure we are not going to run into any difficulty.
Mm,
So I
mm,
usually spend about half an hour on every case reviewing it.
yeah. Okay, cool. Any new news updates since we last talked about? I think we talked about a risk
Just that
factor.
the numbers don't look good for a second lottery, but I don't know. We'll see how it works out.
When you say what do you mean by second lottery? Like what do you mean by
The
numbers?
H1B lottery, remember how last year it was three times.
Mm,
So first they had the first round, then they had a second round, and then they had a third round.
yeah. So
Why does that happen? That happens because using their statistical wisdom, such as it is, they the USCIS estimates how many applications should they take in-house or take in to cover the entire quota.
mm,
And they grossly overestimated. A lot of people didn't apply, so they run a second round.
yeah.
And they still grossly overestimated, and they had to run a third round. But this year it may not be that simple because number one, the USCIS is now armed with better statistical data, and two, the number of applications was twice what it was last year.
Wow. Okay.
So
But I mean, it's not necessarily bad thing to not have second lottery, right?
it's bad for some of the people who were expecting it would work out. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I could still be way off, and so could USCIS.
Mm, mm,
So we'll
yeah.
see.
Okay. All right. We are starting to get questions. If we win H1B in lottery for from two completely different employers, can we cancel one after the result? Also, can you provide a session on O1 visa? Yeah, we're planning to do O1 visa soon. But to answer, what do you think?
Yeah, you can cancel after selection. That's not a problem.
So is it like which company does he have to tell? Like,
It's
hey,
his choice
okay,
whether he tells Oracle or he tells
Google
Microsoft, sorry, I cannot be your CEO. Either one is okay.
or Twitter. Now Twitter is on sale.
Uh, Twitter is still not, I don't know what their revenue model ever will be, but
Yeah, yeah. You should start getting money from Twitter.
for what?
I mean, you have a lot of followers, so.
I have enough money for my needs. What do I need more money?
Okay. Always feel good to watch Yudi. Oh, I can actually show the comments. I forgot. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks.
I have a question. I'm applying for F1 visa and is relying on 100% loan. Is it safe for me?
My guess, yes, but you want to check with your DSO. They know this better than I do.
Yeah. Okay. I am currently in USA on F1 visa. I am on my associate degree in a community college and staying with my sister. Can my sister file a green card for me? If yes, how long is it going to take?
She can file for you if she's a US citizen. It'll take about 15 years. And you cannot stay in the United States just because a green card has been filed for you.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. And is it for all countries 15 years or
Yeah,
is
rest of the countries are about 13 years, I think.
Hmm,
And India and some of the more backlog countries, 15, 16 years.
okay. Right. I have backlogs, sir. I have three. What are the chances of getting F1 visa?
I have
Backlogs mean
backlogs.
uh,
Well, I don't know what that means because, from what I understand, they are frontlining student visa applications.
backlog means failed in couple of subjects while he was doing his bachelor's.
Oh, that's something you have to discuss with the school.
Yeah.
They have their own academic policies, what they allow you to do and not do.
Okay. I'm coming to USC. Majority of my finance is covered by loan, and around 10,000 is given by my father, with who is Hindu priest. Is it mandatory to carry 3 years of income tax returns?
Talk to your DSO. Uh, I don't. I don't get into that kind of details in F1 applications. It's the DSO's job to help you out.
Yeah. Okay. What are the chances of getting H1B reject if you qualify for the interview waiver? Can you please also talk about interview waiver criteria for H1B?
Interview waiver. So let's call it personal interview waiver is available right now till December, I believe, of this year for all work visas and for student visas F1, M1, J1. And this is the theory. How can you get an interview waiver? If you have ever received any kind of visa and you have not received a denial of a visa, and if you did receive the denial, you were able to overcome it and the visa was granted. And the third thing is you're applying from your home country. The consulate can choose to not even interview you, and that would make the process a lot faster. A lot of people in India are getting waivers, interview waivers. And in my view, waivers are appropriate where all the H1B incidents are quite clear. This looks like a genuine job. There has been no history of denials. You went to school in USA or you came on an H1B, whatever your status is. So it depends upon the paperwork. Some things can be problematic. So I don't think it matters. Personally, I don't think it matters that you are working through a contractor or working directly. Working directly for an employer is better, but I don't think that's a deal breaker that would take away your interview waiver. But if the company is blacklisted somehow or on some kind of a lookout list, or you are, then you could have a problem not being able to get a personal interview waiver.
Mm.
So I don't think you will be rejected just because you qualify for interview waiver. If anything, if you are being selected for the interview waiver, it seems to suggest that your case is pretty good.
Mm. Okay. I have H1B visa and my employer is ready to initiate the green card process. So, which category should I apply for? What is the timeline for Indians working as a manager of three cell phone stores and MBA done?
Well, it depends upon where your MBA is from and if the job can be honestly set to require an MBA. So, if indeed your degree is equivalent to a US MBA and the job requires that, you should always apply in the highest category available, because you can always downgrade from EB2 to EB3, but you can't upgrade from EB2 to EB3 to EB2 if your perm is for EB3. So always apply for EB2, in my humble opinion.
Hmm. Okay. Can I start my master's in on H4 and after a semester can I change my visa status to F1? Any update on bill introduced for automatic right to work to H1B spouses in US? So two different questions.
Right. So the first question is, can you do it? Sure, you can go to school on H4, but time your conversion to F1 so that you are in full status for one academic year if you want to qualify for OPT. So discuss with your DSO. Also keep in mind the conversion takes a very long time. So that's something you have to discuss with your DSO. A budget about 8 months to almost a year for the conversion, and then act accordingly.
And
Bills come
and,
in,
and
bills.
that
Go ahead.
that because if he didn't do it and he kept going on H4, studied in so the problem is that he's not going to be eligible for OPT. Is
Right,
that? Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Also, there are so many bills introduced every year. I don't even pay attention to them anymore. I think you are talking about Jumpstart Our Legal Immigration System or something like that. That has been sponsored by Zoe Lofgren, who was an immigration lawyer herself. She's very savvy about immigration law. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but I'm prepared to be surprised.
Okay. Wanted to know being a reapplicant this fall because there are no slots opening in previously rejected options. Could you please ask him if there are any rules?
I still haven't seen anything, Vishal. I think what you're talking about is if your F1 is denied, you can't apply
Yeah.
the same year.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen anything from the government. If you have, feel free to share with me. My email should be here somewhere, help@immigration.com.
Yep.
Just go ahead and send me a link if you see anything. I haven't seen anything from the government so far.
Yeah. Any info on better management of docs Dropbox appointment in India? It's so hard to get
No,
the.
no. As always, the administration as well as Congress is quite aware of the problem. Now, does that make they are going to be able to solve it right away? I do not know. What I heard was that Delhi was back to masking again. So I don't know what the situation of COVID is going to be. And they have
Yeah.
lost a lot of staff as well. So I don't know what consulates are going to do to eliminate the backlog. But of course, waiving personal interviews was a step in the right direction. And I think in some ways, denying to interview people who've been already been denied makes sense from a systemic perspective, may not make sense from your perspective because you're the one on the bad end of it. But from a systemic perspective, it's good for the system because it's very difficult for you to overcome a 214B denial.
Mm.
If it's a 221G denial, where you have more documents you can submit, that if they don't make a rule to exempt those kind of reapplications, I would be surprised. But 214B application rejection is not going to be overcome in 1 year.
Yeah. This one is very interesting.
One quick
Can
word.
yeah,
214B is where they suspect you
that
have
you're
immigrant intent.
potential
Yeah.
immigrant. Yeah. Um, Raju is saying, can we file
Yes.
EB1C from
Yes. We
on?
do it all the time. And the only problem is,
And then there's a follow up. Have own company in web development and app development in Florida. So can we file EB1C if possible? And currently on H4 EAD.
okay, hang on. Before you can file an EB1C, first of all, remember EB1C is for international executives or managers. Okay. And the idea is that you have worked for at least 1 year in some specialized or managerial or executive capacity for a branch or a sister of the company in the United States. So let's say you worked for IBM India, and IBM India is transferring you to IBM USA, and you were a VP operations there. Obviously, you qualify for L1. The companies are related. You have worked there for 1 year. Now, let's take a slightly different hypothetical. IBM India is bought over by Microsoft. Can they transfer you right away? Yes, because the relationship between the companies doesn't have to be 1 year old, but you must have spent 1 year in the sister company. So L1A is a possibility, but you have two stumbling blocks. One, you must have worked for 1 year outside the United States for a branch, sister, etc. of that company. And two, your job must be executive or managerial level. If you are yourself Raja and yourself Praja, you are the peasant and you are the king, it's very difficult to make a case for an executive or managerial employee. But I'll tell you, we did a case a few years back. In fact, he's now a US citizen, and we've pretty much become a full-fledged uh, law firm. This happens with most of our clients, that we start with an H1 or an L1, go to a green card, then go to naturalization with them, then do naturalization for all, or petitions for all their family, and also do petitions for all their friends. So this is typically how it works out. In that case, there were only 3 employees in the company, but we were able to do it. But remember, all 3 of them were Wharton graduates, and they were generating huge amounts of money among the 3 of them.
Mm. Okay. I'm on F1 visa studying masters in United States, and if I want to study another master's program after completing this one, is it possible?
Yeah, it is possible. The only thing I would recommend is, Rishi, there is always that smell test. If your continuing education doesn't pass the smell test, at some point you could get into trouble with that, or you may not. Lots of people do that. So if you have a degree in information systems, then you go and do another degree in, let's say, oh, I don't know, information technology. These are very similar. There's no difference in the 2 degrees. Or you have done a degree in computer engineering, then you do a degree in computer science. Oh, they are the same degrees. In fact, in some ways, well, there are differences, but the idea is that there really is not, it doesn't look like you're gaining anything. But
Mm.
there are cases where you have a degree in, let's say, computer engineering, and you want to learn about data science, or you want to learn about, let's take
Business.
another.
Yeah.
Business is another one, enterprise resource planning. So you go and get a degree in management information systems,
Yeah.
or you want to get into healthcare. So you get a degree in another master's in healthcare informatics. That makes sense to me,
Yeah.
where you have an inclination to go into that career. That you should do. But just to stay in the United States, at some point that could become problematic, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Can H4 visa holder student work on campus?
I do not know. I don't think so, but you can double check with your school.
H4
I'm pretty
EAD
sure you
can
can.
work anywhere, right?
H4 without the EAD, you cannot.
Yeah, but if you have EAD, you can pretty much work anywhere.
Well, with an EAD, you can start your own business. You can hire people. You can.
That seems so funny to me
It
that
is. It is. Immigration law is not logical.
yeah.
Immigration is law is not logical. Uh, Yudi, I've been practicing now 30 years,
Hmm.
and 29 years for myself, and before that, working with another law firm. I can tell you this: that every day I learn something new.
Mm.
Very few days go by when I haven't learned something new. So what does that do? Anybody who is reasonably careful will always go and double check everything.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's part of the reason we are confident about our comments, because we have double checked everything, and we do keep track of everything that goes on, everything new that happens. My only job, I only do 2 things. I review the apex of the cases, design the strategy, I talk to people, and the last thing I do is educate our own team. So those are the only 3 things I do.
Yeah. Cool. Can we apply change of status from F2 to F1 on basis of my I-20? And also, can we change my husband's status from F1 to
Yes,
F2 dependent?
yes, you can.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yes, you
So
can.
they are like
Yeah,
swapping
you
basically.
are swapping, and that's fine.
Okay.
There's no law that stops you from doing that. Tasneemji. Man, I can't read anything.
Without your glasses, yeah.
Well, with the glasses, I have to go really back.
Yeah.
I was
Mm.
born in the Middle East, but I'm an Indian citizen. I've applied for my DV lottery. If I apply for F1 visa, will the US consul get to know about my? Well, you should mention your DV application. I think there's a question in the forms that asks you, have you or has anybody ever applied for an immigrant visa for you? I'm not sure if DV is an immigrant visa, but I would not want to conceal any of that from the consulate. Double check with somebody. I don't do DV lottery cases. I haven't looked into this issue, whether applying for DV amounts to applying for a visa. I think it does. You have to say yes to that question, but double check that. Would they let you, would they deny your F1 visa? They could. They probably would. But then it depends upon who you are. And I always tell my own story. When I came to the United States on a student visa, my green card was pending. The consulate did ask me these questions, and I said, do I look like the kind of person who would become illegal in a country? I work in the highest court in the in India. Why would I want to become illegal in the United States? I have a
Mm.
great job. So it all depends upon the kind of person you are, how you come across. Be honest, be sincere, and keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah. If there is a second round of H1B, does having masters in the US increase
Well,
the chance of getting picked?
I don't remember their modality. From what I remember, first of all, master's degree does increase your chances. I don't know if they see the first time they run the lottery, if I remember correctly, they first run the master's degree
Yeah.
and then they run the bachelor's degree and master's degree combined.
Right.
Okay. So I think they might have selected enough people already. So I don't think that I'm not sure how it works. I have to get somebody from my office on the phone actually.
Mm.
Um, but don't quote me on this, but remind me of this question. Either you can email me or you can uh, connect with me on LinkedIn. Just send me a message. I'll double check with our team and let you know how it worked. Because I have some confusion myself. Because do they select new people? I don't think they do. I think they've already selected the people and then they run a second lottery against the selected people. So I'm not sure about it.
Oh, I see.
I don't want to misquote myself and
Yeah,
give
yeah,
you
yeah.
bad information. So
Right.
I will, Ashwini, I'll check it for you.
Yeah.
Ashwini or Ashwin? Ashwin.
Ashwin. Yeah. Okay. If I'm selected in H1B and got 5 or 6 years till how many years can I can extend H1B so that I can stay in United States? Can I stay in US till I get green card?
Okay. The answer is
Mm.
if you start your green card, let's make it even simpler. If you file your green card before your sixth year begins, you will be able to keep extending your H1B for a long time, if not for all eternity. So, barring some exceptions here and there, which would be foreseeable, you can actually plan fairly well not to have an interruption in your career. But the condition is start your green card in the fifth year.
Mm.
File your green card in the fifth year. Don't start it, file it in the fifth year.
Okay, my brother got his B2 visa at age 11. He's now 21 and his visa expired a few months back. Can he get an
Hmm.
interview waiver even though he didn't give biometrics for his initial
Yeah,
visa?
I don't know the answer to that question. Too fine a question. Can he get a waiver? If you look at the language of their policy, yes.
Yeah.
Will he get a waiver? Because nowhere does it say in that policy that you've got to have gotten a visa as an adult. It doesn't say that. So if I look at the language itself, it seems that he should be able to qualify. But you know what, guys? Some of these issues are so fine and they are so not a matter of law, but of procedures and on the spot decision making. It is always better to contact the consulate. Like I had a question, I was writing a frequently asked questions response last week for the Economic Times, and somebody asked me a question: can I do a B2 extension without the current visa expiring? I said, I have no idea, because I know that there's a standard operating procedure that you can't have two visas of the same kind on the same passport. There's an
Mm.
SOP against that. But how does the Department of State work on that? No clue. I would myself send an email to the consulate. I'm not aware of any document where it's written down.
Mm.
So contact the consulate.
Okay. My F1 was rejected in 2020, so I'm doing part-time masters on H4 visa. What are the chances of getting F1 visa in second chance?
That's such a difficult question to answer, Sneha. Um, I can't say. I really cannot say. The fact that you've got an H4 visa, does that somehow make it easier? It might. The way I look at it, look, I'm not a college professor. I don't have to think of every problem as an academic problem. But the practical solution is very simple. Apply. If you don't get it, you can always come back on H4.
Right.
So why worry about it?
Okay. Can I get STEM extension twice if I do both bachelor's and master's
Yes.
in STEM? Yes.
I believe so. Yes, I do believe so.
Yeah. It has to be like higher, right?
Yep. From MS to PhD.
Or bachelor's to master's to PhD. So if he did PhD, then he can still
I
get.
think you can get STEM extension only twice in your lifetime, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Um, STEM extension, I think, is twice. OPT, you can get every time.
Hmm.
First year OPT.
Okay. If a student is doing CPD 40 hours weekly for 4 or 5 months, will it affect her OPT? She's in a non-STEM
Okay.
MBA program.
For CPT, okay, there's a problem. Okay, here is what I remember. Again, these are such, I would actually have to look at my own notes to give you the answer. But I have it on my blog somewhere. So when you are in school, CPT time, CPT OPT combined cannot be more than 1 year. At least that was the policy. And I thought that was very odd.
Hmm.
But if you have finished your OPTs, even if you have done OPT1, STEM OPT extension, you can still do CPT because they can't really stop you. They would like to, but they can't. So the oddness, the last time I looked into this issue, this was the odd situation. The odd situation is if you did it while you were still in school and not yet consumed your OPTs, your CPT could be a problem for your OPT. But if you consume your OPT and then go back to CPT, it should not be a problem. It hasn't been a problem for many of our clients. Many people have gone back and done that. So I would double check the CPT OPT. I know that if you do pre-completion OPT, so if you start taking OPT while you're still in school, you can only work a certain number of hours. I think it's 20. Beyond that, it starts getting deducted from your final OPT 1 year.
Hmm.
Okay. But CPT behaves a little differently. So there's a distinction here. Double check with your DSO. I can tell you there's a difference. I cannot tell you the exact law. I told you what I remember.
Yeah. Can we work remotely from India while on CPT summer internship?
If your school allows you, this is between the school and you.
Hmm.
If the school allows you, there is no rule on this. There are rules on OPT and STEM OPT, but there is no rule that I know of which requires that your CPT must be in the United States.
Okay. All right. I'm on STEM OPT and picked H1B lottery this year. Can I live in a state while team is in a different state,
Yeah,
provided my manager has no issue?
sure, no problem at all.
Does he have to make amendment to H1B?
Well, they haven't even filed the H1B yet. They will file it
Oh,
covering his home location.
okay. Okay. I like how you're like 4 or 5 questions ahead
Oh,
already.
yeah, because I do this for a living. See, that's what I do all day.
I'm applying for F1 visa, but my I-20 is a bit different. It is based on English bridge program. Will that increase the chance of rejection?
It could.
Mm.
Because some of these programs are not looked upon with great favor by the State Department. So I don't have any personal experience with English programs. I really cannot comment authoritatively, but just from a common sense perspective, I think you would have a better chance if you went to a good school with a degree that furthers your career.
Mm, okay. I'm not picked in H1B cap for 2 years. The visa chances are less as the year goes. 0.5 million applicants applied for
Yeah,
H1B. Uh,
in 2022, yeah, 483,000, something like that.
what are the other visa options for a student except day one CPD?
Keep trying to find time to write an article that guides you through it. Maybe I'll just prepare an infographic. It's a lot easier for me to do that. Stand by. Hopefully this weekend I might be able to put something out on my blog on immigration.com.
Okay.
I'll share it on social media. I am on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook,
Yeah. I mean, you guys are also on YouTube and website.
YouTube. Yeah, YouTube, exactly. And our website is immigration.com. So you can please do follow if you want, or just come on here and we can talk.
Yep. I got my green card under EB1B got approved today. Do I
Good.
have to stay with my current employer for 6 months or can I change my job?
Well, uh, who is this? Praneeth. Yeah, Praneeth's up, one who knows four Vedas. Um, yeah, that's what Chaturvedi means, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you have to file your 485, okay? Because you are tied to your job. EB1B is based upon a particular job. So you have to file your 485. After filing your 485, you have to wait 180 days. Okay? After 180 days, you can move your job to any same or similar job in academia or in the commercial world. Okay? You can take your green card over.
Mm, okay. F4 petition PD. What is PD?
Priority date.
Is June 2009 for my mom. I'm about 21. What are the chances of me getting a green card based on my mom's green card under F2B, and how long do you think it'll take?
Okay, I don't know these categories off the top of my head. I'm assuming what you're saying is your mother's F4 is sibling, right? I think F4 is sibling. Let me double check. My
Family,
work is our office does
yeah,
all kinds of cases,
yeah,
but I
it
focus
is
on,
to bring their siblings and their family under.
yeah. So the way that works is if you have to look at how long was the I-130 pending. Okay. So you subtract from your age the the time that I-130 was pending. It can be 1 2 years. So you may have extra time. And there's a calculation there called Child Status Protection Act, CSPA, that could save you by coming to your rescue if your green card reaches a certain level of maturity before even that age goes away. So, just broadly speaking, you can subtract the time that the I-130 remained pending.
Okay. I'm doing CPD and got selected in lottery, and my employer is ready to file H1B after graduation this mid May. Is it too late to apply? Keeping in mind
No,
deadline.
just have your LCA done and ready, and the you could be okay filing even mid June or maybe even late June. It's not a problem at all. You have plenty of time, but you have to finish your degree, right?
Yeah. And is that document required? I think it is. Yeah.
Um, which document?
Degree completion
Yeah,
in for H1B. Yeah.
yeah. You need your degree completion, even though you don't have the formal degree. School should be able to give you a letter saying that you have completed all your degree requirements.
Mm. Okay. When someone is on H1B, is it possible to bring parents under 9 FM rule and keep
Yeah.
them with you for as long as you're waiting for your green card?
Well, by the way, 9 FAM is visas. So that means every visa under the sun is 9 FAM. So
Okay.
9 FAM doesn't help you. But the visitor visa provision says that sometimes in certain situations, even though that particular class of people don't qualify for a derivative visa because they're not your spouse, they're not your child, we might allow them to go on a tourist visa and you can keep extending their tourist status in the United States. So, tentatively, the answer is yes, we have done it in the past, it is workable, it can be done.
Mm. Okay. Right. My current employer has applied for my H1B 2021 and petition is approved. I have visa interview in May. If my current employer doesn't send me to US, can I get it transferred to a new employer?
There are two points of view on this, that which the government says and that which the government does. So the government says until you get a visa stamp, we don't consider you to be out of the lottery problem. But what they actually do is, even if you don't get a visa, they allow you to transfer. So take your pick, whichever view you want to go with. If I were you,
Wait, like, can you explain, like, what
yeah.
do you mean?
So there is a viewpoint, what they say,
Yeah.
unless you have changed status within the United States to H1,
Mm.
or you have received a visa stamp if you're outside the United States,
Mm.
you are not quite there yet.
Right.
Okay, that's what they say. But when we say, where is that written? Look at the language of the law. It says H1B approval. It does not talk about visa or change of status. Okay, so far they have approved all our cases that we have filed in this posture. But if you ask them, they'll tell you, you are still subject to the lottery. So why fight with the government? If it is not a big deal, Manojji, go ahead and get your visa stamp done. Then you can transfer to any employer you want.
Mm. Okay, what happens if you are selected in H1B lottery in March end, but you lose your job in August or want to switch to another job?
If you're, this is the law, this is what I checked the last time, this is what the law said or the policy said. If your H1B is withdrawn or revoked before October 1st, you lose your place in the lottery.
Wait,
Okay,
so if your H1B is withdrawn,
withdrawn or revoked. So there are two ways, right? If the case is still pending, they'll withdraw it. If the case has been approved, they'll revoke it. So if your employer can work with you and not revoke or withdraw till after October 1st, you're fine. You can transfer.
mm, okay. Yeah, but if he switches his job, I don't know how that even work.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Um, he's back. I'm on H4, which expired in 2021. And received extension recently, but visa is not stamped. If I go to Canada for F1 stamping, and in case if it gets rejected, how do I come back to USA on H4?
You don't. You fly to India.
Uh, and so
But you
then,
know what? Why can't you ask for an H4 visa stamp at that point? If they deny your F1, they might ask you to go back and make another appointment for H4. But H4 is a pretty solid visa. It's not easy to deny an H4.
hmm. So even for extension of H4, you have to do interview.
That's what I said, right? Remember, they're waiving interviews. But if they were not waiving interviews, yes, you would have to.
Okay.
But there's another provision, Dropbox provision. Dropbox doesn't care about your background. Dropbox simply says you are asking for a visa in the same category, H4 to H4, and your old visa has not expired. It used to be 1 year, now it is 2 years.
Hmm. I have my surname blank on Indian passport. My given name is Paramjot Singh. In my US stamped visa, they have split my name, mentioning given name as Paramjot and surname as Singh. Does that look
Yeah,
fine?
these are quite frequently encountered
Yeah.
problems. Paramjot, I am not that concerned about it, but at some point, especially during the green card process, make sure you decide which way you want to go and stick with that name. It's much easier to do it while you're doing the green card process. So I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Okay. Can we get EB5 visa through investment, but part of it will be a debt?
Yeah.
For example, if I buy a resort which employs 20 people, but 60% of it is debt in United States Bank, what will happen then?
Okay. One thing is clear, if the debt is not secured by the assets, so if you are buying a hotel or a motel, you can't leverage the hotel and the motel to get the debt. But let's say you bought the hotel and motel, whatever it is, but the leverage you gave was your personal residence. You took a mortgage out on your home and you got the money through that. That money can be used.
Okay. Why did USCI select more than 85,000? Does that mean they're going to be strict in approving the H1B?
I don't think so. I think they didn't select so many applicants. They didn't select 500,000. They got that many applications. I think they selected like 100 and some thousand. I don't remember exactly how many. And I told you that's a statistical projection that if we take 125,000, 85,000 will be filled.
Mm. Mm. Okay, I lost my place in the questions. I got admit from Mississippi. I'm gonna um for
MS in
Emerson.
physics with assistantship, high energy nuclear physics might come under targeted TAL is what? Targeted something list. Uh, will it affect my chance to get? Well, the technology alert list. Sorry, the technology alert list is a problem that can be overcome. So typically, what will happen is if they put you on TAL, you can always submit a letter from the university saying that even though he's working in high energy nuclear physics, he's not involved in creating weapons of mass destruction, and the application of this technology is not for that purpose.
Okay, I've completed my master's and my MBA. I've never been selected for H1B, 5 attempts in total. If I enroll in PhD, will the US Embassy grant me another student visa? I want to visit India.
I have completed my MS and my MBA. If you have to go for visa stamping, Snigdhaji, there's no predictability what will happen. I actually had a student call me from Rajasthan one time.
Hmm.
They denied her visa in the fourth year of her PhD.
Wow.
She had this kind of a situation. She had been here for a while, and when she called me before she went home, and I said, "Don't," and then
Hmm.
she did, and she never came back.
Hmm.
Luckily, she was able to finish her thesis remotely. She only had her thesis left, but they wouldn't let her come back. What schmucks, man! That's such a stupid thing to do.
Yeah. Wow. My F1 visa stamp expires on October 15, 2022, but my study is not complete yet. Shall I enter USA on October 15, 2022?
My F1 visa stamp expires. So, are you saying that you are not in? He is in US, right? So the answer is, if you're already in the US and you're maintaining your status, the expiration of the student visa stamp means nothing. Okay.
I think he's probably planning to travel to India or wherever and then come back.
So he wants to come back before. Oh, yes, absolutely. Avoid having to go back for stamping if you can.
Yeah.
So the only way to do that is to enter before October 22nd, if that's when your visa is expiring. Thank you for clarifying that, Yudi.
Yeah. I'm currently in India. Employer in USA submitted my H1B application for lottery case. Status still saying submitted. Is it normal? Can I expect the results?
No clue. Is it normal? I think submitted is the people they go for the second round, if I remember correctly. Again, I'll double check with Anna in our non-immigrant visa section. I'll update you.
Okay. Can F1 visa holder apply for green card or during OPT period?
Google Rajiv, Rajiv, Khanna, Khanna or Khanna, my last name, the Economic Times. Rajiv S. Khanna, Economic Times. I have an article written on this, a detailed comment who can and cannot apply for a green card while they are still on a student status. And the answer is if you are India born, you probably cannot. It takes too long.
Hmm. I have H4 visa stamping valid till 5th September 2022. Already have H4 extension approval till September 2024. I plan to travel to India in urgent and planning to come back by May without new stamping.
If I know this the procedure, to the best of my knowledge, when you come back, they will give you an I-94, but you have an approval. It's an interesting problem. Here's what you do. When you come back, make sure you show them the H4 approval, okay, the new H4 approval, and see if they'll give you an I-94, which is commensurate with your I-94 or with your approval. So let's say your approval is till 2025. Make sure they don't give you an I-94 till September 2022. Make sure they give you till 2025 because that's your approval. If they don't do that and if you have a problem, come on in, come into the United States, try to get it corrected by going back to the airport, to what is called deferred inspection office. And if they still don't do it, then you can always apply for an extension of the H4 like you did the last time.
Hmm. Okay. I'm on F1 visa, finished first master and doing PhD right now. Do we need to submit all I-20 during H1B filing? I
Mhm.
lost 2 semesters I-20 and my university saying they were not able to issue it again.
Have an email exchange with the university asking for the I-20s. And if they say no, attach those emails to your H-1B application. I don't think you should have a major issue. But the problem is you have to show that you maintain status all the way through. And that can only be done through your I-20s and your curriculum, how you attended classes, etc.
Hmm. Okay. I have my H1B extension approval, but it is not stamped. Can I go to Canada for stamping or can I do Dropbox from Canada?
I don't know if they have a Dropbox in Canada, but I can tell you this, you can go to any country which will take your application. So you could look into Canada, Mexico, Bahamas, Jamaica, Costa Rica, any of these countries, New Virgin Islands.
Hmm. On L1 visa, all L1A visa, but company wouldn't proceed with EB1C. Don't want to wait for decades. What are my options?
And just try to convince the company. You can't do it without the company.
And they can't switch jobs as well, right?
The EB1C can only be applied within the same group of companies.
But but even L1A cannot be transferred.
No.
Yeah,
L1 and EB1C are the same criteria. Very little difference.
yeah. Okay. Can you work from different state location remotely in US on H1B? My employer is fine with me working from a different
Yeah,
location.
sure you can.
Yeah,
But the only thing is make sure that is how the H1B gets approved. And if it was not approved like that, then get the H1B amended.
yeah. Okay, my son is doing industrial engineering final year and his green card EAD expired this month. He lost internship opportunity because of this. Should he switch to OPT EAD at this time? Are
Okay,
there
that
any
doesn't make any sense. His green card EAD expired this month?
they probably have applied for his
No, no,
green card and got work permit.
no, no. My son is doing industrial engineering final year. There's no way they could have gotten green card this quickly. His green card EAD expired this month. He lost internship opportunities. They probably mean OPT. Should he switch to OPT EAD at this? Your question is not clear, Daryl. I'm not sure I understand it, sir. Are you sure this is a green card EAD? Can you confirm that, please?
Yeah. Yes. She's saying yes. Or he. I don't know.
He, Daryl is a he. Um, his green card EAD expired this month. So
So
they have a
why,
green.
so why is it not possible?
It's very unlikely because if they are India born, Daryl Mendes, they could be from Goa or they could be from any of the
I
Hispanic
guess
countries.
Daryl confirm where's your location.
Yeah,
Where
where was your son born? Which country was he born in?
uh, he is derivative based on my E3 green card.
Oh, E3 green card. So his EAD expired. Well, he doesn't need an EAD to go to school.
No, no, he lost internships because it expired, so he can't work because he doesn't have work permit. So
Can he
there are.
switch to OPT EAD? He cannot because remember he's got to be on student status.
Yeah.
So, and if there is an exception to people who have been going to school but don't have student status. But even if he applies for student status, it's going to take a long time. I don't think this is a good solution, Daryl. I think getting an EAD approved is the only good solution for him. But have him talk to his DSO. I'm pretty sure there is no other option.
Yeah. Okay. We'll take next 3 minutes because I have to go. I'm currently on my F1 visa, OPD visa, and next year is my last attempt for H1B. If not picked, I do a second master. Do I get same 3 years of OPT after that again?
Master after masters, you do not.
Yeah.
You do not get OPT, you do not get STEM extension.
Yep.
You have to go for PhD.
This is a good question. Can we apply for B1, B2 for parents from a different country?
Yeah. I actually have a pretty desperate investor, almost $1 billion investment into USA, and he's stuck. They have raised so much money and he's stuck. And one of the questions he raised was, despite congressional intervention, they were not able to get a tourist visa. So can we go to a third country? And I said, you can go to any country as long as the country is willing to take your application. So check ahead of time.
Hmm. Hmm.
Normally, the first B1, B2, they want you to take from your home country.
Okay. Okay. Thoughts on the Jumpstart
No
bill?
thoughts. We talked about that just a moment ago.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You might
Okay.
have missed that. Jumpstart our legal system. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't think it has bipartisan support. So it's going to fail in Senate.
Okay. He's born in UAE. I mean, oh,
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So he's pretty close to getting his green card then, isn't he? But in any case, I think it still makes sense to check with the DSO if there are any options. I don't think there are.
yeah.
The only thing you can do is focus on getting his EAD through.
Does a B1 reject have any impact on applying for masters in fall
Yeah,
2022?
they're the same category. If the rejection is 214B, hang on. Are you already in the United States though? No, they are
No.
outside the US. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're outside the US. If you had a B1 denial, it does have an impact on your F1. Yes.
Okay. There was a good one. Sorry for okay, yeah.
That's
Sorry
okay.
for spamming. Can we discontinue CPT if our H1B gets
Yes.
picked?
Yes. What would be the best timeline to discontinue when you start working on your H1B?
October, probably. Yeah.
Depends.
I don't know what that this means. Apply for pre-OPT or CPT.
Pre OPT, I don't like too much. Remember, we were talking about that because
Mm,
it gets taken out of your OPT. So if CPT is an option, but remember, I have some doubt about that too. I think even CPT gets deducted if you take it prior to OPT. If
mm.
you take it after consuming your OPT, you have no problem.
My current company doesn't allow STEM OPT, but my H1B got selected. If my H1B gets rejected in October, can I
No,
change company and apply for?
no, I think it'll be too late. Unless you have time left on your OPT and you stay on OPT, Don't go on to H1B, stay on OPT. And if your OPT is continuing and you can apply for STEM OPT extension within time, then there is no problem. But
Well,
if you,
he will by default be on OPT, right? If his
yeah,
H1B is rejected.
exactly. So the problem is, see, if he doesn't have OPT going all the way and he becomes a part of the cap extension, he will not be able to apply for STEM OPT.
Oh yeah. Okay.
There has to be a connection between a transfer from OPT to STEM OPT without intervening gap.
Mm,
And
mm,
cap extension is a gap. That means your OPT has expired. That's what I believe the law to be.
mm. Can we do active business on H1B, or if yes, then does import business come under active
Go to
category?
immigration.com. In the middle of there's an accordion control. There's a frequently asked questions. Click on that. We've discussed this issue at least 15 times in the last 2 3 years.
um,
And by the way, even on my LinkedIn page, one of my earliest infographic actually was a schematic about when you can and cannot work on have a business on H1B.
um, as an Indian in H1B in the States, okay, he's in the States. Is there any hope for green card backlog going away in
It
coming
doesn't
years?
look like it. So if you have a Canada option, take it unless you don't mind continuing to work and wait for your green card. So
Okay. Thank you, PK. All right, I will end it on that note.
take care,
Thank you,
everyone.
yep. Thank you, everybody. We'll
See
see
you
you in
guys.
2 weeks. Okay. Bye.
Bye, Yudi.
Yep. Bye.